It's time for a geography lesson. Pull your maps out and look for the tiny town of Hillston, central New South Wales. Tiny little dot, but Lance and I, we're here to start a 5-day adventure ride all the way out to Broken Hill, across into South Australia, a quick lap of the Flinders Ranges, and back here again by Wednesday next week.
Today we're on the two project bikes, the Honda Transalp and the Suzuki DRZ400. Now they're a bit of a comparison because the Transalp's got a lot of legs for the open country, where the DRZ's a little bit low geared, but Clubby's going to try and keep up.
Yeah, I'll be chasing your dust all week long, Lance, but this one should be a beauty. Lots of big miles, lots of outback country. I reckon we just need to get on the bikes and do it. Menindee, on the edge of the Darling River, about 100k still to go to Broken Hill. Stop for a dog's eye and a quick splash of fuel for the bikes, and what do you know, 20 DRZs turn up, and look at them, they're packing fresh rubber for me as well. Perfect timing is what I say. Let's have a look at them. Mate, what's happening, boys?
Yeah, it's all happening.
You serious, mate? How many miles you doing?
7,500, so.
So she's a tour group or just a...
Nah, just drive.
So we're just out on the outside of Menindee, and this is the Menindee Lakes. Actually standing in the Menindee Lake according to the GPS, but there's a little bit of water down there. But Clubby, what was the story with those all those good old boys on the DRZs and the XRs?
Good old boys, that's exactly what they are, mate. The guy leading them, he's called the captain. I gather he's a legend, never heard of him, but in the space of 10 minutes, mate, he's thoroughly earned my respect. Bunch of mates, they do a big ride from out of Victoria every year. They did Cape York to Melbourne via the Gulf of Carpentaria last year. This year we've bumped them at the end of their first couple of days of the ride. 7,000 Ks, 21 days, Melbourne to the red heart of Australia, following some old route from some old digger who rode out through here in 1935 on some old Triumph. I mean, full marks to those guys. They're hardcore, doing it with everything on their backs, spare tyres, the lot. Really good hardcore adventurers, Lance.
And they look like they were doing a reenactment because they're old XRs. They had jerry cans strapped to the back of their bikes, and old canvas backpacks and just council worker jackets. But honestly, they were just into it, and they're just doing it anyway. So kind of made us look like pretty boys, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel very soft at the moment, but the good thing is, sounds like they're on a real similar route to us for the next 2 days. So I'd say we'll be seeing more than a little bit of them in the next run from here to Broken Hill and then on to Arkaroola in the Flinders tomorrows. I think we're going to get a few laughs with these boys for sure.
Okay, we're just outside, about 20 k's outside Menindee, and just over the back over there is Menindee Lakes, and behind me is the highway to Broken Hill. And running along the side of that highway, which has crisscrossed the road a couple of times, is this big pipeline that apparently runs all the way to Broken Hill. And it has an access road that runs along the side of it. So instead of doing 100 k's of transport, Clubby's made a suggestion that we do the whole trip on this access road that looks a bit sandy, and I reckon there's going to be a big red tank slapper out in front, just so Clubby can get it on the helmet cam. So, but anyway, we'll see how we go. Hopefully it won't stray too far away from the road, and I can just put my tail between my legs and get back on the tar if need be, if this Transalp causes me any problems. So anyway, we'll give it a go.
followed the access road till we met the highway again, where the pipeline disappeared off into the wilderness and out of sight into the northwest. With fuel and time always a factor, we decided to get back on the blacktop and keep our eye out for more detours up the road.
Well, we're nearly there at Broken Hill. Hey, but Lance, where have you led me to? You sure you're on the right road? I thought it was all flat out here. Instead, we're in these rocky ranges.
Yeah, well, we found a bit of a sidetrack off the road. We're probably about 15 k's out of Broken Hill.
Yeah, nearly
and,
there.
And it's just this big high spot, just as you start coming across the plains, and then it just sort of launches up here, and then it's just kind of mountains into Broken Hill. But we came up this short side track, and it was a little bit steep. And I tell you what, the Transalp's got no ground clearance, mate. I think the centre stand's going to have to go because we struck a couple of big rocks, just a couple of little humps there. So, you know. But anyway, we got up here.
Yeah, you want to watch out. You might start a bushfire. Sparks flying off everything underneath that fire in those rocks there, Russ.
But but God, this is a beautiful spot. It's just amazing. And we're chasing the sun now. But like I said, only about 15 k's into Broken Hill, and get ready for our big day, all the way from Broken Hill via Yunta to Arkaroola village.
Day 2 of the ride kicks off here at Broken Hill. Right behind me in the background you can see the massive BHP mine. Huge ore body, they've been mining it for over 100 years. Sprang up in the mid to late 1800s. It's a much bigger town than we expected. We're going to take a little bit of time now to have a look around a few of the sites, the main street of town. We also want to try and pop out to Silverton, have a look out there, just about 30 k's out of town. Then it's back on the bikes, and we've got a long day. 200 kilometres transport this morning across into South Australia to a little roadhouse stop called Yunta. Then we turn north, heading up into the heart of the Flinders Ranges.
Okay, spot the difference. That's right, this one's red and it's only got 2 wheels. But the Transalp is really suited to these long hauls out in the desert. The only thing that we did to the Transalp with this particular trip was to fit pivot pegs, a Garmin Zumo and Continental tyres. And it's made it perfect for this sort of ride.
The Transalp is so good that Clubby climbed on the big red bus to get a break from the DRZ. Yep, that's me trying to get out of the headwind behind the caravan. Compared to the Transalp, the DRZ seat felt like a lump of 3x2 hardwood.
It's been a fair slog this morning. 200 kilometres due west from Broken Hill, up the main highway to here, the Yunta Roadhouse. Had a real big headwind the whole way. The bikes are sucking up plenty of fuel, of course, as a result. So we're loading up here, topping the tanks right off. Even stocked up with a little 5 litre jerry can as a bit of extra for the next section. 301 kilometres pure north up to the very top end of the Flinders Ranges to our next overnight stop at Arkaroola. how good is it to know that we're only 30 k's from Arkaroola village, and this is what we're here for. Finally, we're out of the big, dry, wide open wastelands that we've been riding through all day to finally get here in the heart of the Flinders amongst all these rocks.
Yeah, that's right. And actually, it was Clubby's bright idea to come this time of year, because after the Hattard Desert ride where we went in summer, it was steaming hot and we nearly cooked ourselves. And now we've absolutely frozen our butts off this. It's just so cold. It's probably been about, I don't know, 10 degrees maximum. Maximum today. So I can't even talk. I'm shivering so much. And yeah, and plus the wind chill factor. So, geez, it's been a shocker today. So, but anyway, yeah, we've got 30 k's up the road to Arkaroola village. The sun's disappearing over the horizon, and I reckon it's going to be dark by the time we get there. But oh, geez, it's been a great ride.
We had an awesome night last night at Arkaroola Lodge. A lot of time around the table with the captain. Ian Kennedy's his name, an old enduro dirt bike legend from out the back of Mafrasale in Victoria. Him and his crew, they're going north from here, right up the Strzelecki track into the heart of the red centre of Australia, on a mission to find the lone grave of a bloke named Ellis Barkin, who used to explore the outback on an old Triumph 350 in the 1930s, mate. Absolutely legendary stuff. Lance and I, but we're heading south, and it's going to be a mighty day. We've got big blue skies, brown rocky landscape, lots of mountains, lots of ranges. We're heading all the way to Blinman. Really going to be a special day today, going to be brilliant.
Actually, Clubby meant to say Ellis Bankin. Clubby's attention to detail makes him the adventure bike equivalent of Russell Coit. Oh well, never mind.
22 kilometres in the can for today, arriving here at Hawker tonight, running on vapours down the highway. Always a good adrenaline rush when you just don't know whether you're going to make it on juice. We came down from Blinman this afternoon, snuck into sections of the Flinders Ranges National Parks. Some absolutely eye-popping views in there. Beautiful roads, tailor-made for adventure riding, and then just cruise down through the open country past Wilpena Pound to our overnight destination. Another awesome day in the can. It's still bitterly cold, but look at the weather. Beautiful blue skies again, top conditions for riding. We've just left Hawker, the start of our latest day. Big mission again once more, dirt back roads and tracks across to Yunta, and then we're going to cross across the border into New South Wales and take aim back to Broken Hill this afternoon.
Alright, we're back to the point where we began on this Flinders Ranges loop. Yunta is just 46 k's back down the road there, and we'll be heading down there for fuel. But we've just completed, what, about 720, 750
Just
kilometre
over
loop?
700 kilometre loop, yeah.
So from here it was 255 to Arkaroola, then across to Hawker, and then back to here, and down to Yunta. Yunta?
Whatever they call it. But this morning's been awesome. I think that's one of the best fun sections we've had of the whole ride. We left Hawker, snuck south down to Craddock, and then there's a direct backtracks across here to just north of Yunta, and there were some of the funnest trails and sections we've had.
Yeah, no, it was good actually. It was a bit reminiscent of the bridle track.
Yeah?
And but then starting out with some great scenery in Hawker around the edge of the Flinders Ranges, and not a bad ride at all. It was a good find.
It was a good score that, but I reckon now I need a meat pie and Coke. What about you?
Yeah, get Yunta.
2 meat pies for
Yunta.
Lance. Well, I can tell you one thing, my backside certainly doesn't like these long transport sections like we've had this afternoon. 200 kilometres straight up the barrier highway from Yunta up to Broken Hill. Didn't enjoy it at all, but then it's stops like this that make it all worthwhile. We've snuck outside Broken Hill about 30 k's to Silverton, checked out the old hotel, the old gold, silver, lead mining town, and of course another big feature was the memorabilia inside from the filming of Mad Max and various other movies over the years. A really cool end to another good long day in the saddle.
You can read the full story about Off-Road Explorer's Flinders Ranges adventure in Trail Zone Issue 20. For more information on our route, links to information and accommodation, go to www.offroadexplorer.com and check out our travel section.